Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
We sincerely apologize for not being able to bring on our interview as promised. We're still working on it. If it's possible, any minute from now, we will be speaking with the NLC chairman here in Akwa Ibom State, still reviewing some of the proceedings from yesterday's meeting with the presidency and some of the standpoints. I think we have Comrade Sonny James joining us. Hello, good morning, Comrade Sonny James. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Akwa Ibom people.
Good morning. How is the city of Uyo this morning? Or did you go to Abuja for the meeting also?
Yeah, the city of Uyo is shining bright, and we give God the glory. The meeting we had yesterday was visual. So I am enjoying you, and I joined the meeting real time.
Oh, you joined the meeting real time. So we want to talk about the proceeds of the meeting. We see that the NLC TUC were able to get the federal government to agree to pay 35,000 naira as wage. What do we call it now? It's some wage increments, yes, for staff members at the federal level. What does this mean? We see that the strike has also been suspended for another 30 days, more like having an eye on the federal government to see at the end of this month will that 35,000 naira reflect on salaries.
Yeah, you are very correct. First of all, let me salute all Akwa Ibom people for standing by us in Akwa Ibom to join force with other colleagues in the nation to ensure that federal government is called to account on the issue of the welfare and well-being of Nigerian workers and citizens. It is a kudos to all Akwa Ibom people. It is a kudos to all Nigerians. The federal government of Nigeria, under the able leadership of Chief Bola Tinubu, had accepted in his own consent to pay this sum of 25,000 during his nationwide broadcast on October 1, that it will be increasing the salaries of workers in form of salary award by 25,000 naira. It therefore became obvious that upon engagement later that same day with the organized labor, there were issues that were put in place, and federal government has accepted to change from 25 to 35,000. And I give it to the labor leadership on the negotiation table. What that apply or imply is that 35,000 will be added to the workers' salaries in the federal level. And that also had given templates between the federal government and the organized labor that will be transmitted to the states for similar negotiations to take place nationwide. This is one paper we were looking for all this while, and therefore there wouldn't have been any need for us to engage our governors with bare hands the way I did in Akwa Ibom. But despite that, now that we have the template, we shall continue to take it upon ourselves to present it to the governor of Akwa Ibom State so that we can begin the process of ensuring that that is also reflected on the workers' salaries in Akwa Ibom State.
Is there an expectation that what will reflect for the workers in Akwa Ibom will also be 35,000 naira? I mean, will state governments across the country not argue that they may not be able to do 35,000 naira increase across all? Because I mean, one of the conversations was that we do not have like cadres, not like level income earners, so everyone is going to be getting 35,000 naira wage award. Will it be possible to also get a 35,000 naira wage award in Akwa Ibom State, or the government will be able to argue that maybe we will do 20 or 25? What's the hope for state governments and NLC, as it were?
Yeah, it will be also too early to start to preempt that governors will not be able to pay that. One thing is certain about every governor: none of them has ever agreed they have money. Not in Akwa Ibom, not in any state of the federation. And therefore it becomes obvious that we will do the normal engagement. We are expecting them to say so. After all, even the 10,000 that His Excellency the Governor had promised to give to all workers in Akwa Ibom starting from this September, it was not even given on the fact that they have too much. They were all complaining even at the 10,000. So if they are now asked to pay 35,000, I do not need to be explained to what will be their complaint when the papers are presented to them. But the fact remains that every of the governor in this state, as in this country, is being expected to comply with that negotiation by reflecting it to their people in their respective states. For some of them to say we don't have money is very clear. After all, up till now, some few states here and there have not been able to pay the national minimum wage. But we got it in Akwa Ibom State as the third state, and therefore it's also very obvious that our governor who loves the people, will also be willing to make the people to feel fine, starting from this month of September that we have just finished.
Okay, the chairman said, I would like to find out, because Nigerians, Akwa Ibomites, want to know. Labour, for the first time in a long while, got the support of Nigerians across different, subsector of the economy. I mean, the health sector, the engineers, the petroleum sector, literally everybody was ready to join forces with Labour, the entirety of Nigerians, to protest and strike this time around. And with the suspended strike for 30 days, the spirit of Nigerians has dropped. But I'd like to ask at this point, what will happen in the event that after 30 days, the MOU signed between Labour and the federal government is not being implemented?
Hello, are we together?
Yes, we are together. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said we have Labour enjoyed the support of Nigerians in this particular engagement because Labour is the only voice left for Nigeria. We have given our own support to the Nigerian masses also. That is also what had motivated the people, necessitated them to join us in this struggle, and we did not disappoint them. If you look at the records, look at what the agreement looked like. Item number 1 to number 15. You will see that it cut across the entire persons. The number 1 talks about that wage award of 35,000, and then we also have in it where 25,000 naira will be given to 15 million families, which Labour will also be part of ensuring that we are able to detect who should benefit. There are vulnerables in the country that needs to benefit, and therefore we will also be part of selecting those families, not just the way they were feeding people during the lockdown and claim they had done forms of physical money transfers. So for this 25,000 that will be distributed in 3 months to these vulnerable families, Labour will also be part of it. There is also this agreement with the federal government earlier, where Mr. President agreed to release some amount of money to the SMEs.
This network is in the way. Of course, we are looking at interpreting the meeting that happened with the NLC and... network is really in the way. Let's see how we can settle that so that we can have Comrade Sonny James, who is the chairman of the NLC in Akwa Ibom State, giving us interpretation
and
for...
Therefore, there's also an agreement to give waiver to the diesel consumption, meaning that for all the companies who are using diesel to do one form of production or the other, the price of diesel will be subsidized, and I don't want to use the word subsidized. There will be waiver granted on some of those taxes on diesel.
Of course, those goes back to the conversation we had. What are the modalities put in place to also, provide some level of cushioning or palliative to the organized private sector? The most important thing happens to be the cost of operation, and that's traced down to diesel. Okay, I think we have Comrade Sonny back.
For us to begin the process of converting of vehicles to CNG-driven vehicles. There is also agreement to bring in more buses in the next 2 months, between now and November, where we will have these buses distributed to states for a way of ameliorating the situation, mitigating the suffering of Nigerians in transportation. So this was a well articulated packages that will involve all Nigerians and masses. So therefore, the masses support has not been in vain. It's commendable, it's appreciated, and will never be taken for granted.
So something that I and Francis were talking about this morning is these CNG buses, when they are circulated to states, will it cover for rural transportation? Because sometimes when we are thinking of solutions for Nigerians, I don't know how far-reaching our steps are to help those in the grassroots and rural areas, because these CNG buses might just run around our city centers. What happens to those in those areas? And then I'll add one more question just so you answer as we wrap up this morning. 35,000 naira wage award for federal government workers. Yes, state governments might be gotten to implement it. What is the NLC's role? What is NLC doing to help private sector workers with regards to these kinds of wage awards at this time? It is binding for everyone, whether you're a federal, state, or private sector worker.
Yeah, thank you very much. The aspect of releasing vehicles, let me take for instance, if 50 vehicle is given to Akwa Ibom, of course, these are things we are advocating, is given to Akwa Ibom. Nobody will tell me that 50 luxury buses will be kept in Uyo only. We are working on a situation whereby it will go to all the local governments, at least the local government headquarters in Akwa Ibom. So it will apply to other states of the federation. If you reach your local government from the state capital, you can further find your way into the villages. That is the experience. I've not seen any government mass transit that goes into the villages. I've not seen it anywhere in the world. And therefore, it will not only concentrate at Uyo, it will concentrate at all the local government headquarters. Once you get there, you will be able to find your way.
Apologize for this inconsistency with the network. We do hope that when Comrade comes on clearly again, he can reiterate some of the things.
If you have waivers in your production, it should be also practical. That your workers are also encouraged as you give them the wage award. The paper, if you look at item number 10 of the agreement, is very clear that the state government and the private sector are also urged to replicate exactly what has been done in the federal by making sure that the workers in their respective corporations are given financial support to mitigate the suffering. The suffering is on everybody. The larger achievement will be if laborers inspect the Port Harcourt refinery that the federal government had earlier promised to begin production by December. We will have seen things firsthand for ourselves, and we would have known how to advise and what we can do together to ensure that refinery works. If that refinery works, there will be a win-win thing, a win-win affair for not just the government, but the entire workers and citizens of Nigeria. Okay. So the private sector are also obligated to do something, and it is very clear in black and white in the Labour Federal Government Agreement in item number 10.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade Sonny James, for coming on the show this morning to give us more insight on the issues. At least Nigerians can better understand what to expect from the federal government, and also to thank the NLC and the TUC for speaking on behalf of Nigerians at this time.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, so do enjoy the rest of your day. Great conversation, great insight. At least Nigerians know what to expect and how to best arm themselves. But that's the much we can take on Rise and Shine this morning. It's been a great journey with you, and we are here because you always give us your optimum best. Thank you so much for choosing Spectrum Television. Thank you for choosing Rise and Shine. Until we return to your screens tomorrow, I am Uyai Aniekan. God bless Nigeria.
And I am Francis Oyumaide. Thank you so much for being there. Let's do this again tomorrow. Do enjoy the rest of your day.